Okay, so we're going to continue. Ramiro brought home 10 pounds of rice to add to the 24 ounces of rice he had in the pantry. Let X represent the amount of rice Ramiro uses over the next few days. Okay, so there's actually a couple of things that I want to point out to you. So he brought home 10 pounds of rice, but he already had 24 ounces. Right there, I have pounds and ounces. I need to convert them. It either needs to all be pounds or it needs to all be ounces. It doesn't matter which one you choose. I'm going to convert everything to pounds. Okay, so I know. So we have 24 ounces, and I need to convert that to pounds. Okay, well, what do we know? Hopefully we know, or if not, Google is a good thing right here. To convert, there are 16 ounces in 1 pound, okay? So I could separate this to be 16, and then what, I have 8 left over. So this 16 ounces right here, that's gonna be 1 pound, and the 8 ounces, well, that's half of 16, so that is gonna be half a pound. So 24 ounces is the same thing as saying 1.5 pounds. So if he brought home 10 pounds to the 1.5 pounds that I already have, now we have a total of, so we already had 10, he brought home 1.5, so we now have a total of 11.5 pounds of rice in the pantry. Write an algebraic expression to describe the amount of rice remaining in Ramiro's pantry. Okay, so we know what we're starting with. We are starting with 11.5 pounds of rice. My description of our problem already gave me a variable, and it said let X represent the amount of rice used over the next few days. So X is going to show us how many days or what we're using each day. Okay. So if we are using rice, we're not adding rice, instead we're taking away because we're using it. So the expression is going to be 11.5, and we're going to minus the amount that we're using each time we use the rice. So our expression will just be 11.5 minus X. Okay. I told you X was how much of rice they are using. Determine if there are any constraints on X, meaning is there anything that's not allowed with using the rice, okay? Well, let's think about it. If I'm gonna take away rice, I gotta take away something, okay? So we know that my amount of rice is gonna have to be bigger than 0 in order for me to take it away, okay? It could equal 0 because there might be a day that I don't use any, right? What else? Well, I also can't use more rice than what I have, right? So X has to be less than or equal to the total amount that we have. Hold on. So the amount that we use, the amount that we're using out of our pantry, it has to be more than or equal to 0, but it also has to be less than what we have, which is 11.5. Okay, so this one, the tricky part of it was making sure that all of our measurements were the same. So watch out for that, because that's a good, they'll try to trick you sometimes, and by they I mean me. Pay attention to your measurements. So we made all of our measurements the same. I chose to make them all pounds. You could have chosen to make them all ounces. It's your choice. Start with that amount, subtract my X, which is a minus how many, subtracting our value, and the amount of rice that we do use has to be more than 0, but also less than 11.5. Okay. Questions at all? No questions? Okay. We're almost done. We have 2 more problems. Okay, so here Jose is going to have the exterior of his home painted. He will choose between Crystal Clean Painting and Elegance Home Painting. Crystal Clean Painting charges $175 to come out and evaluate. Hold on. There we go. Crystal Clean Painting charges $175 to come out and evaluate the house, plus $7 for every additional 30 minutes of work. Elegance Home Painting charges $23 per hour of work. Let H represent the number of hours for which Jose hires a painter. Which of the following statements are true? Check all that apply. Okay, so we're going to check each and every statement. The expression 14H represents the total charge for Crystal Clean Painting. Okay, so let's look at Crystal Clean Painting. This is the information we know about Crystal Clean Painting. So they charge $175 to come out of the house. So I have to pay $175. Crystal Clean, we have to pay $175. Okay. And then $7, I didn't highlight all the way, should I? $7 for every additional 30 minutes of work. Well, it did tell me, I see that H represents the number of hours, so I need to make that my hours. So if we're doing $7 for every 30 minutes, that is really $14 an hour, because there's 2 30 minutes in an hour. So 7 times 2 gives me 14. So that does not represent the total charge for Crystal Clean Painting. That is wrong. Okay, so we are not going to check off that first box. All right, the expression 23H represents the total charge for Elegance Home Painting. Okay, so now we're going to look at the other one. So Elegance Home Painting charges $23 per hour of work. Okay, the end. So if I'm just doing $23 an hour, they're not charging us to come out to our house. They're just going to charge hour of work. And so all they're charging is $23 an hour. So that is true. That is the expression for Elegance Home Painting. The expression 175 plus 14H plus 23H represents the total amount Jose will spend for painters to paint the exterior of his home. Okay, so what they have done here is they've actually combined the two companies together. 175 plus 14, that is actually the Crystal, this piece is the Crystal Clean Painting, and then just this piece is the Elegance. Well, he's not going to charge both companies to come out to do the same one job. That doesn't make sense. So we are not going to combine our expressions together. So that is not correct. We will not check that box. If Jose hires painters for 10 hours, then Elegance Home Painting will be cheaper. Okay, well, let's see. So what it wants me to do is hire them for 10 hours. So I'm going to take both of these expressions for the different companies and plug in 10. So for Crystal Clean, it's still $175 to come out to the house. And then it's going to be $14 each hour for 10 hours. Okay, order of operations, we're going to multiply first. 14 times 10 is 140. And then we're going to add 175 plus 140 gives me a total amount of $315. Okay, I'm not done with my work. I need to compare that to what it would be for the Elegance. Okay, so with Elegance house painting, that's going to be 23 times the 10 hours. So that's going to give me a total of $230. So clearly Elegance is cheaper. So if we hire painters for 10 hours, then Elegance is going to be our cheaper choice, right? If Jose hires the painters for 20 hours, now they're saying that Crystal Clean is going to be cheaper. Okay, well, the only way to know that is to plug in what they're asking of us. So let's plug in 20 this time. So this was for 10 hours. Now let's do 20 hours. So Crystal Clean, for 20 hours, they still charge you $175 to come to your house. And then it's $14 an hour for 20 hours. That becomes $175 plus $280, which is going to give me $455. All right, now let's compare it to Elegance. Why is it not showing the bottom half? Space, there we go. All right, so for Elegance home painting, they're going to charge me 23 hours for the full 20 hours that they are there. They don't charge to come to your house. 23 times 20 is going to be, what is that, 460? Okay. So here, my cheaper option, if I were doing it for 20 hours, is going to be Crystal Clean, and that is what they say is true. So that is correct. So our second expression, the expression 23H represents, that is correct for Elegance. And then the charging for the 10 hours versus 20 hours, who they claim to be cheaper is true. So here it just really depends on how long you're going to hire your painters for, because Clean, what is it called? Crystal Clean, they are cheaper per hour, but they cost to come out to your house. Where the Elegance, they don't charge to come to your house, but they are more expensive per hour. So it really just determines on what, how many hours you're going to hire them for. Okay, we have one more problem. During harvesting season at Florida Blue Farms, hand pickers collect about 200 pounds of blueberries per day with a 95% pack out rate. The blueberry harvester machine collects about 22,000 pounds of blueberries per day with a 90% pack out rate. The pack out rate is the percentage of collected blueberries that can be packaged to be sold, based on Florida Blue Farms quality standards. Okay, so this is saying that not every blueberry that we harvest is going to be packed. So there's a package rate. Sometimes they're not going to meet the standards. Okay. All right, so it tells me to let H represent the number of days the hand pickers work and M represent the number of days the harvester machine is used. Which of the following algebraic expressions can be used to estimate the amount of collected blueberries that are packed at Florida Blue Farms for fresh consumption this season? Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to make, I'm going to do a screen shade, because sometimes having those extra those multiple choice options can confuse me. So for now, I'm going to cover them up and I'm going to create my own expression and see if it matches. Okay. So I'm going to highlight the information that I have. All right, so hand pickers collect 200 pounds of blueberries per day with the 95% pack out rate. So let's represent this. So they're going to 200 pounds by my hand pickers each day. Now to show that we can only use a 95% rate, I can only use 95% of these 200, right, per day. So what you're going to do is you're going to multiply it by 95%, and we're going to represent that in a decimal form. So that's going to be shown as 0.95. All right, let's do the same thing for the machine. So the blueberry harvester machine, they collect 22,000 pounds and have a 90% pack out rate. So let's represent that. So my machine does 22,000 with the machine, okay, but only have a 90% pack out rate. So we are going to multiply it by 0.90. That shows 90% of that total. Okay. So to write an algebraic expression, to be used the estimated of collected blueberries for both ways means we're going to do what to these? Are we going to add them, multiply them, subtract them? We are going to add them together to get their combined packaging, their combined collection of blueberries, okay? So I have my two expressions. Let's see which one of my answer choices follows. All right, so option A, they added the rate and they actually multiplied it to the hour, which is not correct. Option, so that's definitely wrong. So not this one. B looks like what we did. So the 200 by the hand pickers plus 95 or times 95%, and then 22,000 with the machine times 0.9, which is 90%. I like B so far. C, they included my percents in the harvesting, which you cannot do, so that is not correct. And D, they're adding our percentage, which is not how you take a percent of a value. To take a percent of a value, you have to multiply. So D is also wrong. So my only option here is going to be B. Okay, so that concludes the notes. So please make sure we are able to get on. We need to be able to get on to our Canvas. The notes you just took with me, you're going to upload them. Let's get into your class. All right, so the notes you just took with me, you're going to go to modules. I even have it by today's date, September 8th. So, and I've already uploaded the first video for today. When this video is done, I will put it right here with it. Here, upload the notes you just took with me, and then here is your second assignment that you are going to do, and then upload this one. So the top part of this assignment is a table that you're going to fill in. It gives you an expression, or a phrase, you're going to represent it as an expression. So you can use X for the number. So 9 increased as a number will be 9 plus X. Does that make sense? That's what you're doing for those top ones. Okay. Guys, you keep asking me about the password. It's in the message that is sent to you guys. It gives you the link and the password is right afterwards. Okay, so many of you ask me that. The password is sent out to you. Also, when I upload it onto here through modules, you don't need a password. They're also on YouTube, and you don't need a password for YouTube either. But when you get the notification, the password is sent to you also. All right, starting with number 2, you'll write an expression. Make sure you define your variable. So if you want to use D for days, tell me that. Okay, if it says any given of number days. So you can use D for days. If you want to use X, then tell me you're using X for days. I don't care. But tell me what letter you're using. Tell me it's for days, and then write your expression. All right? Same for the back. Here, he's deleting pictures. So remember, that probably means we're subtracting something. All right? Combined number of posts, right? That should give us a hint that we are adding 2 expressions together. A difference between, remember, that is subtraction. We should be subtracting. Okay, so this is your assignment. Upload your notes, upload your assignment, do it today, and then that is it. So if you do not have any questions for me, I am going to dismiss you.